Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Q&A here at the Dice Tower with Tom Vasel. That's me. I don't know why. Anyway, where I just answer questions, talk to you. So if you have questions about things, I have something I would love to talk to you all about, but I'm going to hold off on it for now. I was just going over the most played games in the cruise. Our library is a mess. The table here is a mess. Hero Quest all over the place. Lots of things. This studio is in chaos right now, and we're getting ready for Dice Tower West. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So looking forward to seeing what comes in the future. So if you have questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments. I will. Well, I guess I don't need those for now. I will answer some of them. I don't promise to answer all the questions. Some questions get asked all the time. I guess since we just came off the cruise, I should have the cruise ship should be like sitting here. Oh, look at that. Woo. The cruise ship. All right. Let's see what questions we got. Audio and video fine. Oh, that's good. Oh, there is no questions? What? All right. Well, then. Have you been playing Hero Quest with or without the app? I played without, and I'll tell you why, because I don't think the rulebook even mentions the app. So I didn't see any reason to do the review with the app. Though I do mention it in the review. I mentioned something about the app, and I'll just save that for the review itself. The Foursquare review this week, there's not one actually, just because of timing and things, getting all four of us to play a game. We have a game that will be Foursquared, actually two games that are being worked on to be Foursquared. So you'll see one for sure when we get back from West. In a previous Q&A, you showed us your double-sided game mats. You're talking about the ones on the table here? Those came to me from Rathskellers themselves. Are you going to the UK Games Expo this year? I feel pretty confident I can say no at this point. The UK Games Expo hasn't really contacted us. I don't really have money and really even the time to go. I could possibly send somebody, but financially that doesn't seem very viable. And I personally can almost guarantee I won't be there simply because it's very close to when my first grandchild will be born. And while I could miss that, per se, my wife shall not. And so I'll be keeping an eye on the kids. Let's see. Is there a contest? Why, yes, indeed, there's a contest. Let me pull up the information on that. So we have a contest to get a $10 gift certificate from Game Nerds. So the way to do that, let me find the right one here, the right document. So today is February 21st. It's President's Day here in America anyway. And since this is a U.S. contest, in the subject line of an email that you send to contest@dicetower.com. That's contest@dicetower.com. Put president in the subject line and answer the question, who is your favorite president of a company, not a country. I don't actually really care. So one lucky person will get a gift certificate. Wahoo! So there's that. Let's get back to questions. How was the cruise? It was good. Are you looking forward to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series? Sure. I mean, I can wait for it. I'm not like dying about it, but I'll watch it. Best cruise food this time around? Well, that's a good question. Pre-cruise, someone who went on a cruise made their own macaroons, which were the best macaroons I've ever had. So that's one. On the cruise ship itself, I had a lot of good food. My favorite thing I had on a cruise, somewhere I had something I really, really liked. I had some crab encrusted tilapia, was it? I don't remember, but it was really good. It was fish with like a crab covering. That was really delicious. Today is Family Day in Ontario. Well, that's cool. Are there any games you are excited about you might be unboxing this week? Yes. The unboxing's already done, so I'm going back and trying to remember which ones I've unboxed. What do you think was the biggest technical upgrade the Dice Star has made? Remember that they have multiple streams for different cameras. Yes, I'm glad we're not there anymore. Having multiple cameras on the same stream makes more sense. The biggest technical upgrade was when we bought machinery and stuff for live streaming. Although we make a lot of minute technical upgrades that you just don't see all the time. We'll be making a camera change this year. Did you see the new villainous expansion is going to have Syndrome? I think I did see that. If everybody is super, then nobody is. Do you think certain types of games make for better live plays? Yes. Easy. Party games make the best live plays. Straight up. Not even close. Second, strong thematic games. Those are the top two that make for good live plays. But I also think the people playing a game make for a good live play. How long do our email contests usually last? They usually last a week, but sometimes they're 2 weeks. How do we pick a winner? It's always a randomized number. Just to clarify, the book no longer exists that I know of. I've looked for it. I can't find it. Did I get a second tattoo? I did. A lot of people have asked about that. So I did, I have the one of, I don't know if you can see this on screen. I got myself, the dice guy, and I felt very asymmetrical. And so and I also thought it was weird that I got a tattoo of myself. So I know I said one and done, but I needed to finish the thing. So I got my wife on the other wrist. But now I'm done, really. There's no question about it. I don't want to keep doing it. I don't want to be covered in tattoos. But I feel better being symmetrical and having one on both wrists. I know everyone says you'll get tons more, but I'm willing to be stubborn about that all the way to the cows come home. Also, it's not like it's a pleasant experience, so why would I want to keep doing it? But I do really, really love my wife, so I was like, I think that'd be nice to do that, to have us both there. Have you seen or heard of a Story Master's Tales? The second best-selling, I don't know that I would always advertise second best-selling thing. How we had a copy to you? An RPG book system? I don't know. You would have to email me offline at tom@dicetower.com. What are all the foreign countries you've been to? So outside of America, so I've been to Canada and Mexico. Although Mexico, you know what? I'm going to say I'm not going to count anything I've been to on a cruise ship because I don't think those count, with the exception of Jamaica and Bahamas, because in both of those I went farther in than I did, say, at most of the other, like the Mexico ports of call are more touristy things than not. Oh, fine, whatever, Mexico. But all the little islands. I don't know. Anyhow, Canada. Then in Europe, I've been to the UK and Germany. Is that it? Oh, and France. I've been to France. So those are the only 3. I'd love to visit more, but money, time. Nothing in the Middle East, nothing in Africa, although both of those I would love to go see, especially Africa. In Asia, I've been to Korea, Vietnam, Japan, China, Malaysia. Those might be the only 5. Okay. That's it then. So I'm not as widely experienced a foreign traveler as you might think. Oh, Iceland. How could I forget Iceland? Iceland, too. Who's winning the lifelong chess match between you and Hasbro? It's not a chess match. Hasbro wouldn't play a chess match. They would just play a roll move game. How'd the karaoke go on the cruise? I watched the first karaoke. The second one I was packing the library, so I didn't have a chance to get in and see it. Although I heard someone got rickrolled. Do you still get chicken chop chop? Sometimes. I don't eat it all the time. I heard you raving about free Ben & Jerry's. Yeah, I did get free Ben & Jerry's on the cruise. That was very... After the final show, our final show started at 8 and ended at like 9:50. And then I realized the ice cream place closed at 10, so I ran over and the lady was closing shop. And I was like, please? So she gave me ice cream, and I gave her a nice tip. So I finished off the cruise with some raspberry lemon sorbet. I just sat. I always do 2 things on the cruise at the end. I always go and sit and eat ice cream if I can pull it off in the main area, just watching people as they go by, just kind of relaxing. And then I go sit on in my balcony in my room eating some cookies. And then it's over and you got to go and move. A macaroon? Maybe you're thinking macaron. Is macaron the way to pronounce it? It's those little cookies that are different colors. They look like they look like toys almost, but they're very bright colors. I mean, sometimes they look chocolate flavored, but I really like them. They're very expensive though, really expensive. So it's hard for me to ever get them on any kind of meaningful way. Is there going to be any video from the cruise? There's going to be a vlog of sorts, and then there's also going to be our last game show was recorded by the cruise cameras, so you'll be able to see that. So that was pretty fun. Can you see the future? I can. I would say that in about 10 seconds, I'll raise my hand. No book. When can we expect the top 10 turkeys list? Probably not anytime soon. But I'm not saying we won't do it again. Oh, yes. Tom is addicted. Tattoos are like potato chips. They're not like potato chips because getting the second tattoo hurt as much as the first one. So I have no desire. They also cost money. So there's like no desire to get more. Yeah. Not the kids and the dog. That's not happening. It seems like our plays of Ark Nova settled an hour per person with many plays of the game. Do you think it gets quicker? I definitely do think it gets quicker. I don't think it's a 3-hour, 3-player game. I think it's closer to 2.5 for 3 players. But and I think I could play a 4-player game of it in 3 hours too, likely. Let's see here. What percentage of your games are created via crowdfunded? I don't actually understand that. I think you mean crowdfunded versus not crowdfunded. I have no idea what the percentages are at this point. Definitely crowdfunding continues to get more. Macaron is the colorful cookie. Macaroon is the coconut cookie. Maybe. Macarons. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The colorful cookies. Top 5 favorite historical places you visited in the United States. Gettysburg, Washington, D.C. I mean, those are the top 2 for me. Easy. Gettysburg is amazing. Historical places. Top 5. Oh, Philadelphia. And the Continental Congress. I love that stuff. So Philadelphia makes number 3. I'm just gonna stick with those 3 for now. Based on early housing numbers, you expect to return to form for Gen Con this year. I do not expect Gen Con to ever reach the numbers that it did until it's kind of reaches normality. Like, I just think that until Gen Con says we're back to normal completely, like, and in this, and I'm trying not to get into any kind of debate here, but when they are, you no longer have to wear a mask in any part of Gen Con, then I think Gen Con will get back to its previous numbers. But you're always going to find people who don't like some of the policies and so won't come. So I don't think it will get back to those numbers. I think it will be bigger than last year, yes. What are your top 5 Dominion expansions in order? I think I've done a top 10 on this. If I haven't, I will do one in the future. I'll wait till the next Dominion expansion comes out. When counting points in a track, says Gordon, do you tap each number to count or just add your points and move your tracker? I usually just count the points, but sometimes I move it. It depends on how small it is. If you move 3, you go 1, 2, 3. If you say 30, you go and 30. A lot of people do 27. They'll be 30 minus 3. Top 5 rides at Disney World? Thunder Mountain, or whatever it's called. The Yeti roller coaster, whatever that's called. I'm not being very useful at naming names. I've only been to Disney World once for everything. It's very expensive. It's like, we went one time as a family, and I told the kids make memories because we'll never go again. Probably. I like the roller coasters. Tower of Terror was fun, and the roller coasters. My friend and me and the wife's honeymoon, and we were featured on the Love and Merit show on the ship. I thought about going to that, but I didn't really have the time. But I thought about going to that show. What do you like playing most as in Hero Quest? I know Zargon would be your choice. You are 100% correct. I want to be Zargon. If I had to pick one of them, I would probably be the Wizard. I think the Wizard's the most interesting because you got 3 books of magic spells to work with. You made a video a while back ranking all the Funkoverse characters. Any plans to do the same thing for Villainous? Not really. I like Villainous, but I don't play it nearly as much as I play Funkoverse. But my Funkoverse storage is getting up there. I think I found a solution with Christmas ornament boxes, but I haven't yet put it all together. You mentioned before you have a different, bigger TR track for your Ares expedition. Where'd you get it? It's on Board Game Geek. I just downloaded it and printed it. What's the most unusual object in the Dice Tower studio? I don't know. But you want to see something cool? You can see part of it here. Someone gave this to me on the cruise. Look, I'm finding a hook to hang it up on. I am Groot. I thought this was pretty cool. Although carrying it off the cruise was a thing, but I got it done. It didn't fit in a suitcase, but that's gonna go somewhere here. You're back to Disney World when it's just Jimmy at home. Yeah, but when it's just Jimmy at home, he'll be 16, so he may not be as interested in Disney. My kids are not Disney fanatics. There's definitely Disney fanatics. I got them in my church, and I know some people just love Disney, and that might be you, and I'm not criticizing you much. But my kids like Universal way more than they like Disney, so if we save up money, that's where we're going to go. I think they like SeaWorld. Even Disney movies, they find to be okay. They like them, but they like other stuff more. So that's just the way it's always been. Did you ever comment on the reaction to Dice Tower West having an unmasked game room? I don't know that I've commented publicly on it. We made the decision. I stick by it 100%. The full weight of the decision lies on my head. If you have any criticism of that decision, then you can yell about me all you want. But the decision has been made. I'm incredibly happy with it. I think it's a very good compromising decision. And I frankly don't understand the people who on both ends, extremes, who are yelling at me about it. If you think that it is a dangerous thing to have that room, then you shouldn't come to Vegas at all, because the entire city is going to be like that. And if you think the whole thing should be unmasked, it shouldn't affect you at all, because you can just go stay in that room. It should make everybody happy. It will not. Nothing will ever make everybody happy. We're going to do our best to make as many people as happy as we can while being safe. You might not think we're being safe enough. You might think we're being too safe. Well, then you do not have to come. If you think it's not safe enough for you, then you're welcome to not come. If you think that it's not going to be fun, you're welcome to not come. I won't get upset either way, but the decision has been made. That's not a very political statement to make, I guess. Sorry, but that is exactly how I feel, and I suspect the vast majority of people going to Dice Tower West. Let's see here. Have you been to Key West? Nope. It's funny, because I live closer to Key West than anyone else in America practically, except people who live in my same city. But Key West is 3 hours away. And my kids aren't necessarily keen on going there. Every time we start driving down that way, so we'll go down to Key Largo, 45 minutes Key Largo, then an hour and we're at Isla Mirada. And then we go and I'm like, the farther down we go, we have to drive all the way back up. So if we want to do Key West in a day, it would be a 6-hour trip. That's really long. It's not much closer than saying go to Orlando, farther than, so I just haven't been there yet. So maybe me and my wife will go down someday. We'll get a hotel and stay down there, maybe. I just bought a Geek Up bit set for Quacks at Quedlinburg. Is it true that your version purchased for the library began to wear off? One of our versions. I have 3 copies of Quacks. One of the versions wore off. BGG said it was an early version that happened to a few. And also remember, my version got played to death at Dice Tower West. The other versions all got played. Quacks has been played quite a bit, and I haven't noticed it happening too much else. How do I store my Marvel United game? I have 2 sets of it. One set is in the big box that had all the Kickstarter upgrades. Actually, I have 3. Hang on, we'll come back to that. Then one is the base game with some extra heroes and villains thrown in. I then put the Sinister Six and the Thanos stuff in its own box, and X-Men is currently in its own box. When the X-Men stuff comes in, well, who knows? Let's see here. Would you ever travel to a con in Canada as a guest? Yes, I've actually done it once. I went to a con. Oh, I apologize. I don't remember the name of the con, but I've been to Canada a couple times. I was asked this last time. I don't know if we're going to the World Series of Gaming yet. We're not going as players. Well, at least I'm not. I don't really care what games are in the semifinal or final. And we might go and cover it. It's possible, but I don't know at this point in time. Is there a restaurant you recommend in the Miami area? I cannot speak to the Miami restaurants. I barely go to them. I can speak to the Key Largo restaurants because they're fantastic. Kirk says, Unmasked Room, your show, your call, but you do need an advisor on your fashion sense. Come on, man. That may be true. I might have a bad sense of fashion to most people. I guess I don't care. I like to wear what makes me happy. My wife thinks I look okay. My kids particularly necessarily don't, but I don't think if I had high fashion, they would think that either way. Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I try to make sure my shirt's tucked in and that my underwear's not showing and that, you know, I don't have holes in my pants. But I like suspenders. I like wearing ties. I like wearing hats. So, yeah, I guess I don't have good fashion sense. But, meh, life goes on. May I ask, what would be the current game that could be most considered similar to or a modernized evolution of Return of the Heroes? I don't think there is one. Would Trump Fabric make a good live play? I think it would. That's one I think we need to do a catch-up who's on, because I think there's a few people in the studio who haven't played it. Hey, you always say to show up early to be able to play with you at a con. How early will you be at Dice Tower West in the morning so I can play Ark Nova with you? I don't know that that's even possible. You can show up to play with me early. I don't think I'm going to be playing Ark Nova there. I think I'll be teaching it for sure. But it's a really long game, and so I try to play as many games with different people as possible. For Dice Tower West, I'll be there early. I don't know if I'll be there at 6:37, who knows, because the time change does make things trickier. But I will be dragging in a pile of review copies. I just feel I'm in the mood. This happens once in a while. I'm in the mood to just play new and random stuff. So show up, maybe get to play some of that stuff with me. What is your process of developing new shows, concepts for the channel? I'm always thinking about new ideas. I always am. I think, well, let's try this and this. We talk it out here, and sometimes we do a show, sometimes we don't. But I don't know. I'm just always thinking about it. The process is in my head. I'll be like, let's try this. We talk over it, see if it's possible. Sometimes I just do it and then say, come up with an intro to the guys. Other than the U.S., which 3 countries produce your favorite games? Wouldn't know. You could probably figure it out if you went through my list of top 100 games of all time, but I don't look at things as to what country they come from. Well, yes, we stopped putting our components on a table, Hero, dropping them all on the table, just to save myself time. I'm not saying we'll never do it again. What are the plans for the garage renovation, and are we going to get a renovation series? I don't know the second part about the series. The first thing is we need to get a storage unit here in our backyard, and I need to look into the legalities, the zoning and what we need to do that, to move everything out of our garage. Then the next step would be to refurbish the garage. Oh, I don't need a bunch of people to tell me my fashion's stellar. It's fine. It doesn't matter if everyone dislikes it. I got over that a long time ago when I went to school as a kid and everyone made fun of me. You know. Did Nick stop by the Dice Tower headquarters today? He was in Homestead on vacation. Actually, a few people wanted to stop by, but I don't know. He did not contact me. Nick did not. Do you have any bow ties? I have a few, but I don't like wearing bow ties that much, so I don't know why. I like having the tie cover down here. Was board gaming big among Koreans during your time there? Ish. I mean, there was a lot of people who played board games for sure, but about the same as it is here in America. Is there a state you've not been to that you would still like to check out, and why? I think I wouldn't mind visiting all 50 states. There are many states I haven't been to. I think off the top of my head, I'd love to go to Montana. But of just, states in general, like I've been to Texas a few times, but I feel like I've barely seen it. There's lots of parts of Florida I haven't seen. So it's not necessarily a state. I would think more of like specific spots I'm more interested in seeing. I mean, I don't think people would want me judging their state by the bits of it I've seen. Most of what I've seen in states is big cities, like is New York City. That's the only thing I've seen of New York. Is California, LA. That's the only part I've seen of California. Probably not, right? People in those states would argue very strongly with me if I said that. So, who knows? I would like to see lots of states. Tom, on formal night, wore a polo. That's true. I did. On the formal night on the ship, I wore a polo, mostly because I forgot it was formal night. Well, not that I forgot. I just was under the impression it was the next night. But life goes on. There was 2 formal nights, and I was dressed up for the others. Would you ever consider selling your small game covers that you use for your Dice Tower library? Oh, no, I would not sell them. Ernest makes them for me, puts them together, part of my the cruise, and we're using pictures from the companies to do that. I would not sell them. I think you can make them yourself. Ernest has a template, or ask him, but I wouldn't sell them. It's not my stuff. What area of Pennsylvania are you from? Allentown, Pennsylvania. But if you want the specific city that I use on the questions for passwords, email me at imnotadummy@dicetower.com. Z has not played Merchants of the Dark Road that I know of. You were a guest on a board game channel a couple years ago and looked good. Yeah. I haven't seen it in full. Did it go ahead or was it shelved? I think what you're asking is you're asking about the show that Travis Oates was starting out in California that he was shopping around the different streaming networks. It has not been picked up at this moment as far as I know. What other gifts did you receive on the cruise? Ooh, whew. Okay, I got to be careful here because I don't want to miss something. I got a fez. I got a couple really good fedoras. Thank you very much. That's one of the blue fedora is like one of my favorites. I got the ship. This was a gift. I got a book and probably something else, and I'm sorry if I forgot it. Thank you to everybody. Is that the ship you were on, the Allure? Yes. If you were to challenge Will Wheaton to the death, what game would you want to play with him? I don't know. I wouldn't challenge him. I think I would just want to hang out and play a game with him. I have played a couple games with him, so there's that. Would you be open to investors for the Dice Tower business? Probably not. I don't know that I want them messing in my business or selling it. It would have to be a really high number for me to sell it. I love my job. Chuck grew up in Catasauqua. Well, that's cool. I used to be in Catasauqua a lot. The church I went to was in Catasauqua. Darren Rhodes is asking about that same, the small games template. Again, Ernest did that, and I don't know the template. I would ask it on like our Facebook group or Board Game Geek forums, and I'll tell Ernest to go there and look for it. Bob says he's in Whitehall. Hooray! And Whitehall is where we did all our shopping. I lived in Whitehall for a while, too. I've never been to St. Augustine. I'm very happy today. I'm keeping up with all the questions. Woot! Except for the fact that I guess there's only 280 people watching, so not as many questions today. Would I sell the Dice Tower for $1 million? I would not. I wouldn't. I mean, $1 million would be nice, don't get me wrong, but I can't retire on $1 million. And I would want to keep doing my job. Also, I have all these people here at the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is people anyway, so if someone bought it, I would assume they're buying me too. But yeah, I've had a couple people ask. I got a very insulting offer one time for investing in a Dice Tower, and I got someone they're like, can you buy part of the Dice Tower, they asked. But no serious conversations, really. Have you read any new comics lately? I just went back and read through the current Final Fantasy Fantastic Four run. I'm now reading through the Avengers run, but I haven't read a lot of comics. I've been reading some books more, and I just haven't read any comics for a bit. Has the chief attended any of the Dice Tower cruise in any dimension, future, past, etc.? You can't ask it like that, because has he attended any cruise in the past? No. Has he attended any in the future? Will he attend any in the future? And the answer is yes, he has. Is there a rare board game you can't get? That's a good question. I don't know that there's any board game that I don't have in the library that I want, that I haven't been able to hunt down. I'm sure there's probably something that someone will say, what about this maybe, but I haven't thought of it. There's a couple dexterity games that Board Game Geek has in their library. There's like the one that you hit the balls underneath with the mallet, and there's that spin ball. I'd like to get copies of them, but I wouldn't even know where to start looking for them. How often do you come by fans daily? I haven't bought one in ages. So the only reason to have a fan in South Florida, well, I guess if we have a couple in our house and they're there for one purpose. If the AC breaks down, we're all going to sit in front of a fan. But I know some people have fans because they like the noise or they want air blowing on them. Oh, I guess technically I did get a couple ceiling fans. I stole all the ceiling fans from this house. the studio that we're in. All the ceiling fans are now at my house because my house didn't have any ceiling fans. So I took all the ones from here home. But yeah, I don't buy fans daily. That would be kind of a waste. Is Dice Tower Retreat going to have the same type of events as last year? Mainly asking about the game exchange. Oh yeah, the game exchange will definitely happen again. My opinion on Stephen King's books, I don't know. I'm really of mixed opinions on them. His short stories are really good. I like them. I haven't read the Dark Tower series, so I can't speak to that. His longer novels, sometimes they're super gross. And sometimes they're just... I have a hard time even reading them. Like the very popular It, what's been made into a couple series. I tried to read that, and it's just a mess. Also, some really weird stuff he writes about sometimes. He's just all over the place. When playing a new game, do you prefer to have someone teach you or figure it out on your own? I would like to figure it out on my own. Let's see here. Why do you think people get riled up when others don't like a game that they love? Because you want other people to love stuff that you love. You're like, how? The Spirit Island one is always interesting to me because I actually like the game, and you would have think I said it was bad. But that's fine. It doesn't bother me that people, are upset when I don't like their game. That makes sense, or vice versa. It's usually when I don't like it. Because when I hear someone, they'll say, like, I think it's Camilla, doesn't like Marvel movies. And I'm like, how Is that possible? They're the greatest cinematic works ever. They make Citizen Kane look like a folly. Yes, I know. Get off my case. I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe a lot, but she doesn't. So I'm like, how is that possible? But you know what? You just got to get over that sort of thing. But I also understand why people don't like it. Philly cheesesteak or a hoagie? It all depends on the mood I'm in, actually. If I'm hungry, it's a hoagie. If it's a hot day and I'm even remotely eating it outside, it's a hoagie. But sometimes you got to have the cheesesteak. Are you excited for the new old Mario Kart downloadable tracks? I forgot about that. Are they available yet? I don't think they are. When you deal cards, let's say 5 to each player, do you do 1, 1, 1 to each player, or is it 5 at a time? I actually almost always deal them in front of myself in piles. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. Usually. It depends on how important it is for random. So let's say I'm playing Arc Nova and I'm giving people 8 cards off the top of the deck. 8 to you, 8 to you, 8 to you, 8 to you. Who cares? But if it's like a trick-taking game or whatever, I deal out the piles in front of me, then I'm like, pick a pile. Then you can't get mad at me. There's definitely no card sharking happening. Not like I can otherwise. I'm having trouble getting a group back together, says Dan, since COVID killed his game night and FLGS. Well, Board Game Geek can help in that regard. Facebook, I found, can be useful. Or you can start a meetup group. Meetup groups cost money to run, but I do know that people will join them. Jose says, I think he means how often do you run into fans? My word! I learned my lesson when I was very young. You do not run into a fan. You can stick your hand in some fans, and me and my kids, brothers, we definitely did that a few times. Although the big giant box fans, you guys ever have those? We used to have big box. When we were kids, we didn't know what air conditioning was. Rich people had that. But those big box fans, we didn't dare stick our hands in those. But those little plastic ones, you can stick those. I don't know that I've ever run into one, though. Would a 24-hour board game channel work? I think so. It would require a lot. Also, that'd be a lot of live content all the time. There'd be a lot of reruns. The question on fans may have been Dice Tower fans, not Air fans, I think. Yeah, well, if you think the margins on T-shirts is high, there's no way I'm selling custom Dice Tower fans. It seems like a very off-brand market to go to. Oh, Rich is the hats. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it. What's your phone ringtone? All right, let's see. I don't use the phone ringtone very often, actually. Let's see. How do you get to that? I think it's in settings somewhere, right? Notifications? No. Sound. Ringtone. Yeah, here it is. Now that I've probably made this video not eligible for... That's usually my ringtone, but sometimes this is my ringtone. Sometimes it's this. Sometimes it's this. I usually use this for my alarm, and when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, it's time to get up and kill Bill. Anyway. But that's what my ringtone is. But ringtones are like not even really a thing anymore. Will there be a list posted of games you'll be selling at the Dice Tower East Flea Market? We're not sure how we're going to do that yet. It's possible. We'll pre-sell the good ones online and bring in the less good ones and just have them in piles and you can grab them. But I don't know yet. We're still working on that. Did you review the Book of Boba Fett? Indeed, we talked about it this morning in Board Game Breakfast. Will you publish another game soon? To be fair, I've never published any game. I designed a couple games, the very, very well-known Vicious Fishes, bought by 40 to 50 people, and nothing personal, who a couple people on the cruise told me they really like, so that was very nice of them to say. What's the current count of all games in the Dice Tower library? I don't know, it's close to 2,000. I just booked the cruise and leave 2 weeks ago to the Caribbean. Any good excursions you recommend? I don't know a lot of good excursions because they're quite expensive. And with 7 people, well, I have 9, but only 7 people went on this cruise. You look at any excursion like that one's $100. 700. Yeah, never mind, we'll pass. So there's that. What's the difference between a hoagie and a sub? A submarine sandwich has a little bit of meat and vegetables on it. A hoagie has so much meat on it, you wonder why you even bothered with anything else. I have not seen Vox Machina. Favorite Hero Quest figure? I don't think I have one. Sure, I mean, that all sounds right. For the right price, I could sell the Dice Tower and then just not worry about the money part of things. Sure, but I would definitely be told by the powers that be at some point, you're doing this because of the money. So, sure, in my dreams, I would sell the Dice Tower for some undisclosed figure in my head. Someone would buy it, and they would say, Tom, you get to run it, and you have complete creative control. That would be amazing. But it's not going to happen. So I don't sit around and dream about it. About what % of the games in the library would you say is upgraded? I feel spoiled playing games in the library. When I buy it, I miss the upgraded components. Yeah, there is that. Sorry. I don't know what % though. It's not even 50%. But of the hot games, it's quite a bit. What is it about abstract strategic games that makes them infinitely playable? Do you think any modern board games, even the one you love like Ark Nova, would hold to 100 plays? Yes. I think many games are infinitely playable. Do you think it's odd that Dire Wolf, which makes great digital adaptations of board games, hasn't made a digital adaptation of its own board game Clank? I do think that's weird, so I assume that there's some hang-up with rights or something. Michael says, we talked into our fans when we were kids, made us sound like robots. Man, we used to love doing that. We did it all the time. Have you ever cut yourself in a fan? I have. And that's because of the Wii. When the Wii first came out, definitely I put my hand up about something and the fan got me. Can you recommend any choose-your-own-adventure style games besides the actual choose-your-own-adventure games? My group loves them, but I can't find many. Well, the Tales of Arabian Nights is one, but Sleeping Gods feels like a big choose-your-own-adventure game. You should look into that. Is there a particular month you see the channel numbers spike? For sure. The highest 2 months of a year for numbers is January and December. After that, it's probably August, September, then in November and October. Always the second half of a year. The lowest month, February. But why is it February? 2 reasons. One, not a whole lot of games new games are being released now. or in January, which means we're not talking about a lot of hot games. People just in general don't watch as much now, but even more importantly, there's 3 less days, as February only has 28 days. And that does matter. Have you thought about doing less live videos and doing more edited, polished videos? We're going to do a few of the more edited. That game and talk we did, I already have the next 2 planned for what they're going to be. What are they going to be? You'll find out. But no, we love doing the live stuff, particularly me. I really like live. I think live's interesting, exciting, and we're interacting with people. Love this play on words. I'm a little confused by that. I think they're talking about fans as in followers as opposed to the physical fan for cooling. Following fans. Well, that would be cool if a fan would follow you around. But has anyone messed with those fans that don't have blades? They're like always at Circuit City, not Circuit City, Best Buy or whatever. They don't seem to work very well. I thought about getting some of them for the Dice Tower studio so that we could have air blown in here without messing up the mics, but I don't think they would work. They also don't follow you around. Following fans sounds interesting. How hard was it to make the history video of the Dice Tower? Well, I made it in small chunks, and then we put it together. If you notice, I changed clothes quite a bit in that video. It wasn't particularly hard. I had to go back and look up stuff because I don't remember when things happened. So there was a decent amount of effort put into it. The hardest one was probably when I talked about the year of Jack. What's your favorite music album? Don't have one because I don't actually really know what music albums are. I use Spotify and make playlists. And music artists, I don't know that I have one either because there's so many different genres. How are the download numbers with the increased effort towards making more videos in the audio? I'm 99% audio at this point, so I greatly appreciate it. But you're definitely not right now because this isn't on audio yet. Ooh. But let me look. I actually have not. I've not actually looked at the numbers for the. I'm assuming they've gone up since we've started adding stuff, but I haven't done it. Wendy is the person in charge of that. So that's Dice Tower now. Let's take a look at DTV audio. And let's take a look and see how they've changed. So definitely the downloads went up quite a bit. So in December, for example, there was 4,924 downloads. In January, there was 32,528. So that's a nice jump. We're still not looking at, you know, a ton. We're going to work on getting people to do these. There's not, like, let me see, which of these has had the most downloads? A Kemet review from 2012? Oh, whatever. That I don't get. Of the new stuff, I see. These numbers aren't very useful, actually. That doesn't make any sense at all. Why are these not? That's weird. Libsyn does not do a good job with numbers. Most of our downloads come from the United States. Most from Apple Podcasts. Well, anyway, I hope that I'm okay with this. They're getting downloaded some. I'm sure more will get downloaded as time goes by. All right, anyway. Yes, they've gone up. I'm asking all these questions because I see the Dice Tower Studios is getting too big for one owner to manage the business. You're right. I'm a failure. I don't think anything ever gets too big for someone to manage the business. You just got to delegate to people. I have such a great team, folks. I don't ask Z what he's reviewing every week. It gets done. I give stuff to Chris, and it gets done. Camille runs her section, it gets done. Wendy does hers. It's fantastic. I have a great team, so I need some more people at some point. You know, probably someone to help with the numbers at some point. Please do not send me emails asking. Every time I mention it, I get several applications. I'm not looking for that quite yet because we can't afford it, but that is the one thing I wouldn't mind moving on. Let's see. Delicious Vicious Fishes, the sequel. Are you still doing the top 100 Reiner Knizia games? I forgot about that. Me and Mike need to do that. I'll talk to Mike. When's a good time for us to do it? You've never had a hoagie? I don't know that there's many hoagies that exist out of Pennsylvania and Ohio. I mean, they do exist. I've seen them before, but oh, you know when you're eating a hoagie. I was with a guy one time, and we got the hoagies. We were at Columbus for Origins, and it was a great stand there. No longer exists. That made amazing hoagies. And when I got the hoagie, he got it, and he said, "There's too much meat on this." And I said, that sentence does not compute. It doesn't. And he was wrong. They could have added a little bit more meat. No, they couldn't. There was a lot of meat on that. Any tips for getting into painting miniatures? I would go on YouTube, and also I wouldn't ask me because I don't paint. Are you still high on Ark Nova? Indeed. I taught it at least twice a day on the cruise. I had so much fun teaching people that game. I really, really like it. Favorite A-Treat soda flavor? Well, that's a deep cut, but definitely the green lime. I love A-Treat. It's the best soda ever made. How many air horns does Kenny have hidden in the studio? Hopefully none. There's one, and I know where it is. Are you going to bling out Ark Nova? I don't know. I need some ideas on how to bling that out. I wonder if there's anything on Etsy. It's still kind of new. There's no way there's anything on Etsy yet, right? Well, let's look. You never know. Ark Nova. A printed organizer. No. No, I don't really like that. A 3D printed organizer. Oh, there's already stickers for Bitoku here. Yeah, it looks like there's just box organizers for Ark Nova, which are cool. Bitoku 3D printed and hand... What? Bitoku 3D printed hand painted resources? Oh, look at those prices! Oh, my word! Wow, they look pretty, though. Interesting. Anyway, I should not go to Etsy. Etsy is like crack for me. Why am I looking at this stuff? I'm doing a Q&A. Don't do it, Vasel. Alrighty. Do you care about box damage? Just ordered a new game and one of the corners was crushed during shipping. Debating whether to return it or not. That's up to each person. But for me, no. I don't need to, you know, I mean, look at this Hero Quest box here. If this corner was got a nick in it, like I just put a nick in it. Look at that. And I'd be like, what? I'd still play it. I'd still keep it. I mean, it's really convenient when you're going to throw a certain box away to do the demonstration on that. But the point is, I have a lot of boxes in Dice Tower Library that are really beat up. Whatever. Does the box hold all the components inside? Does it have pretty artwork on it? I'm good. Let's see here. Asking this because this morning on Board Game Breakfast, you mentioned all the work you have to do to manage the business that you don't have time to do video content. Well, I'm doing video content right now. And I do more video content and I run my business than any other channel does video content. That sounds really braggartish. I don't mean it to be that way. But literally, Look how many videos that I put out in a week. I don't think I'm cutting corners. I said that as an entire staff, we're going to Dice Tower West, and as an entire staff, we don't have time to do double content this week to prepare for next week. Especially since we didn't have time to prepare for that. We did double content 2 weeks ago to prepare for Dice Tower Retreat. That was really bragging, and I apologize. I don't mean to be like that. When a friend was talking to a fan, I tapped the fan and a year's worth of dust emptied in my friend's face. It was satisfying, says Nick, who is a nice friend to have. February is my birthday month, and no one loves me, not even Dice Tower. What? We love you. I didn't say February is a bad month. It's just a shorter month. Will there be a live or recorded show in Vegas? Yes, I might publish a small thing about what exactly is happening at Dice Tower West soon. I'll be going over the full schedule of that tonight. Did you ever destroy a board game because it was so bad? More than once. Usually it's in the video itself. Let's see here. Do you plan on doing a poll on how many night cruises people would prefer? 6 felt a bit much for us, but we already booked because the experience has always been amazing. I don't know. I think six is a lot for sure. I don't think I'd want to go above that. But people seem to have a good time. Here's the thing. When you have one that's that long, it allows you to do other things on the cruise without feeling like you're missing out on the gaming. And I think that's a really big deal. And it does spread out the gaming more, so there's more room in the library and things like that. Well, unfortunately, folks, that's all the time I have questions for now. So I'm going to get going here. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff going on. Thank you all for answering questions. This is the last live thing. That's all, folks. Tomorrow morning, we're showing off the new Taburu system. Tomorrow afternoon, Trey Parker will be here with his top 10 games of all time. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Q&A with me on the Dice Tower.